Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to attach the inner pocket. Let's get started. Hello guys. Before I start, I gotta tell you one thing. I told you before that I'm on the next project, which is deep V-neck cardigan. But unfortunately, I decided not to complete this project. I have many reasons, but I'm not gonna, talk about it now. I will write the blog, so if you're interested in, you can go check it out. But I don't want to waste everything, so I decide I'm gonna show you how to attach the inner pocket. From the outside, there's no seaming. Probably you want to see inside part, right? I'll show you. There we go. This is the inside. By the way, I use my swatch as a pocket, so it's a little bit big, but the size is up to you. Okay, so this cardigan itself, I knitted it from top to down. And whenever I hit the desired length for pocket, I attached. And one thing you have to consider is the length of the pocket. The main project, which is cardigan, has to be longer than the pocket length, right? Otherwise, you see the pocket at the very bottom. So if you started adding the pocket too late, the project itself is longer than you expected. By the way, this is the inside of the pocket. Nice and smooth. There's no seaming really. Anyway, so let's move on. First of all, you have to knit your pocket. Again, I use my swatch. If you're gonna use your swatch for pocket, don't bind off. My pocket size is 40 stitches and 40 rows. As I told you, whenever you hit the desired length for pocket, that's the time you have to prepare. The orange marker is end of my V shape. And I knitted it about 20 rows. Then now it's time. I add 2 markers. Green marker is for pocket. And there are 40 stitches, same as my, pocket swatch. In between green markers, there is 40 stitches, and I will add this pocket. That's 40 stitch across and 40 rows. There you go. That's how I attach. When you attach the pocket, you have to be on right side, which is knitting side. You will start knitting all the way down to green marker first. To be really honest with you, you can attach the pocket on wrong side as well, but for me, much easier on right side. So seems like I was explaining about the button hem, but I'm gonna skip that part because I'm not gonna finish this cardigan. Anyway, again, this is right side, so I'm going to knit until the first green marker, which is where the pocket starts, right? Just knit all the way down to the pocket. And by the way, you need scrap yarn or stitch holder. I used stitch holder. However, my pocket was kind of big, so I ended up transfer onto other extra needle and cable. Here comes, I knit all the way and green marker. Now I remove the green marker, then transfer all the stitch onto stitch holder. For me, 40 stitches. Now probably you have little idea what I'm doing here. Those 40 stitch on a stitch holder, I will knit later, and that's gonna be part of the pocket. And then I will add swatch from here. At first, you might get confused, but you will understand at the end of this video. There we go. It's done. Transfer. Remove the second marker. And now, here comes. This is the pocket. Again, this was my swatch. Make sure everything is right side, and the pocket is right side. And just knitting, just like, nothing happened. And at the very first, knit a little bit tighter. So 40 stitch across, just keep knitting. Whenever you finish knitting the pocket part, there's more stitch for the cardigan part. So you just connect. And as you can see, the pocket has to be attached onto the project. So both sides, you have to have some stitch to connect. So I knit across the pocket, then start knitting the main project. So now it's connect. And after this, nothing happened. Just knit until your desired length. However, you have to make sure that you really have to knit more than pocket length. I have 40 rows for the pocket, which means I have to knit at least 40 more rows. Otherwise, you can see the the bottom of the pocket from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So I just turn the project and start making purl, because now you're knitting wrong side. And this was one of my mistake for this project. I waited way too late for the pocket. So the cardigan itself became really long, which I really hated. There you go. I thought it was good length, but it wasn't. here comes. I knitted it longer than pocket. That's good. And I have to add the bottom hem. And I add moss stitch bottom. And if you're knitting your project, forget about the pocket for now. You have to finish the project. You can finish the pocket later on. So I'm actually adding the hem at the bottom. I was using the moss stitch, but I'm gonna actually skip it because I'm not gonna finish this project. I just want to talk about the inner pocket here. Now, bottom part has done. Let's finish the pocket now. First of all, that's the pocket, the swatch I used. And I already transferred the stitches. They were on a stitch holder, do you remember? And you have to transfer them onto needle. Now you have to knit the other side of the pocket. And I will put the pocket inside, and you have to knit 40 rows. Obviously, same rows as the pocket you attached. And one thing I want you to remember is when you close the pocket bottom, the right side has to be together like that, which means you're knitting wrong side. So I'm going to knit 40 rows, right? So 40th row at the end of the row has to be knitting side. So you can close the bottom on wrong side. You know what I'm saying? So the last row has to be knitting side. That's what you have to remember. And your pocket size may be, different than mine, right? So you gotta kind of think that way, which means I have to start with wrong side because row number 1, all purl, row number 2, all knit. And you just have to repeat row number 1 and row number 2, which is 40th row should be knitting side for me. But do you know what? You don't really have to be perfect. So if that's too much to think, don't worry about it. Because pocket is inside anyway, so you can't really see. Anyway, this is my 40th row, which is knitting. And again, I don't like sewing part. However, you don't like the way I close the pocket, you can bind off and then sew them together. Now you push the pocket part inside, which is wrong side, like that. And two pocket has to be together. So the both side must be wrong side. You know what I'm saying? And now I am going to close it. You put the other side of the pocket and knit two together. There you go. One stitch. Make it 2 stitch and knit two together. And then bind off. So again, pick up the other side of the stitch and knit two together, then bind off. This is how I closed it. You're facing to wrong side. That doesn't mean you have to do the purl two together. For me, knit two together is easier, especially for the binding off. So this is gonna be inside. So don't worry about it. So again, pick up the other side of the pocket stitch. Then with this side of the stitch, you have to do knit two together and bind off. You just do this until the end of the pocket, all the way down. And again, if you don't like this technique, you bind off and then just sew them around, because both side there's an opening, right? You have to sew them anyway, so it's really up to you. But I want to minimize the sewing part because I don't really like it. I do sewing, but I just don't like the sewing on my knitting project. I don't know why. Anyway, I cut the end tail long enough so I can sew them. And one thing you have to be very careful sewing on the side, at the very top there's a little gap, so you must close that gap. That's all you have to be careful. That's pretty much it. If you're knitting something for children, they love pocket. And it's kind of cute to have pocket on sweater, right? And this technique is super easy. Anyway, I just want to show you how to close the gap, which maybe I don't have to, but as you can see, there is big gap. So you have to close that. Make sure about it. If you don't, you can see the gap from outside. You just have to make sure the alignment is good enough. There we go. And you do exactly same thing the other side. There you go. Now it's closed. This is from outside. There we go. You don't really see the gap, but the other side there's still gap. Well, because I didn't close it. Anyway, and this is optional. You can kind of tie them at the bottom corner so it won't move around. Just one, stitch through and then tie the knot. Don't pull the pocket too hard. And you don't really have to sew bottom and side onto the project, just the corners. That's I believe enough. This is it. Again, I am so sorry that I didn't finish this cardigan. I seriously didn't like it. So many things. Again, this is good experience too. So I will write the blog. What's the part I didn't really like this project? So if you don't want to make same mistake as me, you can go and read my blog. I will put the link in my description box. Anyway, this is how it looks from outside, and that's inside of the pocket, and that's the inside part. That's quite beautiful. I really like that pocket part. Alright, so enjoy knitting. See you soon.